So, and Brendan here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it is reaction battle time. And yep, it is my turn to nominate. So you've seen what it is. I'm onto a loser more than likely, but the point is to try. And it is, of course, Creeper. Creeper should need no introduction. The UK rock band who are polarizing for obvious reasons. They're a band I have a love-hate relationship with. And this just happens to be a song I particularly love of theirs. Band I've seen live a few times as well, always enjoyed them. But the hardcore fan base of Creeper worries me and makes me step back. It's one of those fan bases where you can't say anything wrong about Creeper.
This is going to go well then.
Well, it's just one of those where you kind of like, okay, I really don't want to talk to you then, because if we can't have an adult conversation about Creeper and some of the good and the bad they do, then we're not really having a conversation. You just want me to agree with you, and that's not the point. I think this song's fantastic. I really do. But am I expecting Brent to love it? Probably not. I'm just hoping he at least comes away and goes, you know what, that's some catchy shit. And if that's what he comes out, perfect.
Yeah, hopefully.
Have you really listened to them?
I think I have, but I don't. If I did, I didn't enjoy it. That's the problem, because I know that you and Dan have both spoken about them at length at different times over the last few years. I'd be surprised if during all those conversations I haven't at least given it a crack to see what all the fuss was about. If I did, the only evidence I have that I didn't like it is that I can't remember fuck all about it. So I either never did, or I did and I instantly ran and erased it from my memory.
That one sounds more likely, but it's Hiding with Boys. You all know it if you're a Creeper fan. Let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go. Of course, this album was themed around this paranormal investigator and went missing, a real life event. You can read about it. Yeah, I do urge people, if you want to know more, do go read up the details about this missing person, the case around it, and the unsolved mystery of it all. It is quite fascinating stuff that, Creeper kind of themed the album around and told a story about. It is kind of cool, like cool in the sense that it's just one of those really unusual, unsolved stories,
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it. I didn't even know that the album was themed about anything.
Mm.
That's the truth of it. I still remember we were thinking like that. I thought the song names were kind of odd
Yeah.
without knowing it was themed about something like hiding with boys. I didn't understand.
Yeah, even the marketing campaign and everything, when it disappeared for a long time and sent all the mysterious messages out and stuff like that, was all themed around this same sort of disappearance thing. So they really went for it in that sense, which is cool. Trying to shine a light on it as well, because it's Southampton based where the band are from. So that's very, very cool. What did you think of the song?
I think the song. The weird thing about this song, right? This isn't like a criticism, okay? Because I quite like some of this stuff. I struggle to see how this ends up in our genre, because this to me is indie.
Okay. All right.
And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I'm thinking like of bands like your Feeders and stuff like that, and it's always kind of been part of it anyway. But even down to some things like, there's parts of that song that reminds me of a band that were called the Magic Numbers, who were an indie band. The parts of that song that reminded me of stuff like, I don't know, not quite so mainstreamy like the Killers and stuff like that, but that sort of thing, Kasabian and that sort of thing. So I found it quite, for me, it's an indie track. That's what I
Fair
felt,
enough.
and I find that quite odd, purely because the band themselves look like they're about to be a metal band.
Okay.
Like, the sleeveless vest, tattoos, the long hair, all in black and all that. And you're like, oh shit, it's gonna go off, man. And then it's like, oh no, it's Kasabian. I don't mean it in a negative way, because I like a lot of indie or indie rock or rock. I don't know. It's hard
Indie
to
rock, in it, yeah.
It's hard to always differentiate between that shit, because essentially the difference between them all is it's whether it hits the radio or not.
Yeah, the difference is their names. That's
Yeah.
often it, isn't it?
So as a song, yeah, it's catchy. I give you that. I do. I'm not a big fan of his vocals, which is
Fair
obviously
enough.
a bit of an issue.
That is an issue.
I don't dislike them, but like, I'm not like, oh my god, he's an amazing singer. I'm not getting that from it. I like the tempo of the song. I like the energy. I like the beat. I like the catchiness of all that. I like the chorus. I like the way the female vocals come in with it. I think that adds power to his voice. So the chorus I thought was excellent. I really enjoyed the chorus. I didn't dislike the verses either. I just think his voice sounded better when the two of them combined.
Interesting.
That was all it was. So I think it's a good song. Like I said, so I mean, you can have that down as a win. Don't get me wrong, but my confusion comes from like how I don't know. Creeper always seem to be talked around in the sort of metal alternative community, and maybe it's just one song and it's not enough of a snippet to judge them as a band, But from that, I was like, oh, kind of like I can hear this on the radio. I could see this on the radio. I could see friends of mine would like this is the sort of stuff they listen to, and they hate metal.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't disagree with that at all. It's very mainstream orientated, for sure. I wouldn't even say to you, like, I know the album very well, Eternity in Your Arms. You're not going to get this isn't an anomaly in that album. This isn't like everything else is then guttural fury or even heavier shit. In fact, I mean, Jesus, there's much softer stuff in it, much softer stuff that I don't particularly care for, that is loved by the Creeper fan base. This is one of the faster, more peppier songs.
And there's nothing wrong with like even the softer stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like so close-minded that I don't listen to anything if it's not metal. Of course I do. Listen to loads of non-metal stuff. I mean, that's why I was able to list off indie bands and shit that I listened to in the past.
Yeah.
But I guess I find it confusing because I've only ever heard of them talked about within the metal community. I've never friends of mine who don't listen to metal. I've never heard Creeper mentioned. I've never, you know what I mean? It's always been like whether it's you or Dan or other people in the metal community that might mention Creeper, and that's where I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's made me expect something that wasn't there.
Fair enough. I get what you're saying. It's an interesting sort of way to look at it, because you're right. They only talked about in the main, their size is in the mainstream of the rock and metal world.
Yeah.
It's not in the mainstream of music in general, in popular music.
Which I find strange, or maybe it will eventually, because everything about that I hear in radio songs, and like I can imagine
Mm.
that if it got the chance and it got played, it blowing up and becoming a fucking huge deal.
That chance has already gone by because this is their first album. They've had a
Yeah,
second album, which the second album was a lot more polarizing.
right.
Both me and Dan didn't like it, did not like it. So that was a problem in itself. And obviously that was released at the start of 2020 pandemic period. So they've suffered heavily because of that as well, like many
Yeah.
other bands.
Sucks.
Yeah, and last time I
Yeah.
was saying it, I want to bring this up, and I wonder if Creeper fans have experienced this as well. I really like this song live. However, I like it better on record because in live, something changes that always annoys me and Dan when we've seen them live. So one of the best parts of being that song is it's weird that you don't like his vocals because I think Will Gould's vocals are fantastic. But in that song, I love the part where he gets really low and lie in your bed, lie through your teeth, and does that kind of low grumble voice. Live, he just says that. He does it in his normal voice. And when me and Dan, I remember being Shepherd's Bush, and we were like, oh yeah. And then he did that, and we were both like, oh, come on, man. What, you can't just go low and grumbly for that 6 words you've got to say there.
Yeah.
We were so annoyed about that.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate his voice.
Mm.
It was the thing just out of everything, and I liked a lot of it. It was the thing I liked the least, that was all. You know what I mean? I thought the drums were fine, the guitars were fine, the melody was fine, the energy, the beat. I liked the female vocals, and I liked them combined. So if they were going, if you had to choose one thing out of it that, you know, didn't instantly grab me, it was his singing voice, and weirdly, and it is a taste thing, isn't it? The bit that I disliked the most was exactly that bit that you just said.
Oh, it's fascinating. That's crazy. Yeah. That is amazing. But you know, you've said so much positive, which is way more than I expected when we started. So,
more than I expected.
Creeper wins, sort of.
Yeah.
There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?